Okay.
Welcome to another episode of Portside Conversations. I am Laura Lee Shapiro, your host and owner of Where to Next Agency. I am so excited to have my guest today. When I recently attended the River Cruise Expo in Amsterdam, we had about 16 different river cruise ships there, and I discovered a hidden gem and I could not wait to invite her to be on my video podcast. So please welcome Kelly Brown from Riverside River Cruises. And Kelly, welcome. I'm so thrilled to have you here, and your backdrop is absolutely stunning.
Thank you, Laura. Yes, isn't this just so you can have this too if you would like. This
That's
is not
amazing.
my home. This is actually the Mozart suite, our top suite on the Riverside Mozart ship. That's a real marble fireplace that you see there. This, as you can see, just really
Beautiful.
stunning decor. You could
Beautiful.
make it a two-bedroom option.
Awesome.
So nice
So
taste of what's to
before
come.
before we jump into all things Riverside, let's jump into all things Kelly Brown. So tell
Okay.
me a little bit about who you are and how you came to be my business partner with a river cruise company.
Yeah, well, awesome. So I've been in the industry, the travel industry, about 12 years now, and with Riverside Luxury Cruises for over 3 years. And I'll get more on that point about Riverside and when we started. But I have, been in the industry a while. I've had worn different hats. I drove a minibus around France when I lived there for a time in my 20s. I worked as a travel advisor myself in Seattle when I lived there for several years working, on a lot of European trips, especially a lot of airfare, a lot of things like that. Moved over to luxury side of travel. Then I ended up working kind of behind the scenes for a while at a big luxury company and supported travel suppliers, like in my role now, on training content for travel advisors like Laura Lee. So then I actually met my current boss that way, and she told me about this brand new luxury river cruise line in Europe that was coming out that she was going to be the CEO for the Americas team, and she asked me to be her Western sales director. So
Awesome.
I couldn't say no. I am the sales director for the Western US. I'm based in Colorado, and I cover, for now, at least the Dakotas down to Texas and West. I don't have
Awesome.
California on the map, thank goodness. That's a big beast, but a
Yeah.
couple of the other states there. But
Well, that's
anyway,
great.
that's how I got into it.
So
And I
you
love river
meant
cruising.
so you mentioned excuse me, you mentioned two things that stuck out to me. One is luxury, and you do have a lot of
Mhm.
experience in luxury. And you mentioned a new brand. So there's a lot of cruise lines, both river and ocean, that throw around the word luxury.
Yeah.
Just like there's a lot of people that are, experts. Um,
Right.
but Riverside is the new kid on the block. There's a lot of people that are not familiar with the brand. So just share with us a little bit, the who exactly Riverside is and what sets you folks apart in the luxury arena compared to some of the other, let's just focus on river cruising for now, but some of the other
Yeah.
river cruises that have a status of, hey, we're luxury. So how do you guys differentiate yourself?
Yeah, this has become very clear, and in these four areas are how we're really differentiating is first and foremost with our cuisine, our whole culinary space, with our service, with our space, the ships, the rooms, etc., and flexibility. And we are really coming in and being a kind of a luxury disruptor in this space and elevating that experience beyond what traditional river cruise lines have done with an emphasis on those areas. And we're also standing out as being, very detail oriented, very modern feel. And it's really intentionally designed these ships and this experience to feel more like a floating boutique hotel experience where every element is elevated but effortlessly delivered. And it's really also about high touch, low ego. And one key factor
Oh,
that
I
I want to
love
drive
that. I
home,
love that
yeah,
high touch, low
that's what
ego.
Jen, our CEO, said.
That is
That's
awesome.
that's a really good point because a lot of people think of luxury. Well, right? Everybody thinks of luxury as different in different ways. It doesn't have to be like the stuffy, pretentious, rigid way. You know, when we're saying luxury, we really believe that luxury means having a choice, and that means something different to every guest. Is it what pillow you lay your head on? Is it, you know, the quality of drinks, of dining, of cuisine that you get? Is it the service? You know, because some people prefer more more personalized service. Others prefer a more hands-off approach. You can get all of that, and you get all the choices between, again, the dining, but the shore excursions as well. So it's on board and off the ship as well.
That's awesome. So as far as your accommodations on your ships, I know just because of the rivers, the footprint, they can only be so wide, so long, so
Mhm.
high, because of oh my gosh, the locks. I was trying to think of the word.
Mhm.
The locks
Yeah.
that they go through, the footprint itself is kind of restricted based on those dimensions. But the cabins is where some of them differentiate. Some of them have as few as 120. Others can go up to 150, 160, which means they have a smaller cabin size. Where do you guys fit into that as far as the number of passengers in cabins? And when you answer that, let's talk about walk-in closets on a cruise ship. So
Yes. Yeah.
tell me about that.
So I'm gonna just keep repeating these four areas to help drive the point home. You know, when you're thinking, why Riverside? Why would you choose a Riverside luxury cruise? The cuisine, this service, the space, and flexibility. For with our space, so we have larger, actually the largest average suite size on the rivers. With this means we have king size beds in every single suite, and we do call all of our cabins or our rooms suites. We're an all
Okay.
suite fleet. So we have king size beds in every single one. They can be separated as well for guests. We have connecting room options as well, which is really
Yes,
unique
that
feature to
is.
have, and is great for a lot of different travelers, multi-generational travelers, you know, a couple with a nanny, something like this, or solo travelers that kind of want their own space. Lots of areas we can go with that. But the biggest point really with this that I want to mention is that the guest count. So, two of our ships, the Riverside Revel that sails on the Rhone in France, so think Provence, and the Riverside Debussy that sails on the Rhine. So, we're going, you know, Amsterdam to Basel or Amsterdam to Trier along the Moselle River. That ship has their sister ships, so they're nearly identical, and they're the same, the average river cruise ship size. But the big thing to note is the maximum capacity is 110 guests,
Wow.
55 suites. For
Okay.
reference, other ships with other companies, the same size ship fit 130 to 190 on the same size ship.
Right.
So this is why, you know, we're starting at 190 square feet for a lead-in entry-level suite, and it just gets
Right.
bigger from there up into the
Right.
600s, square feet. So then we do have another ship, and this is the ship. This is the Mozart suite on the Riverside Mozart, and I want to
Okay.
point that ship out specifically because there's only one of her, and she is really unique because she's twice the width of the average river cruise ship.
Okay.
That means that she can only sail on the Danube River.
Right.
So, this ship is really unique also because not only because she's, you know, twice the width, but of all the extra features that means she has, and really is more like a floating resort, honestly.
Right.
But those suites, they start at 219 square feet.
Wow.
Pretty large. And again, king size
Yeah.
beds in every suite, and they can be separated. Even though this ship is twice the width of the average river cruise ship, 162 guests is the maximum and
Okay.
81 suites.
And that would be what's on a single size ship, not the double wide with some of
Yeah.
your competitors. That's
Yeah.
amazing. So
And you
let's
also
talk a little,
see,
yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the Mozart,
yeah.
because it is so much larger, we'll call it a double wide. Do they have more dining options, or is it still just the main dining room?
There is one extra dining option,
Okay.
actually a whole extra restaurant, and it's used for lunch. It's a really cute restaurant called Blue that's tucked away at the back of the ship,
Ooh,
that
great
you can only
views.
access through the wraparound covered promenade deck that the Mozart
Okay.
has. Um, and so, yeah, if you kind of, don't really, you want to get away from your traveling partner or family or something, or you just want to check out another spot on the ship, it's cool back there, and it's got, it's like really Instagrammy vibes. And here
Yeah,
you can get a burger and fries. I mean, I have heard from countless guests that it's the best burger that they've ever had. You can get the soup of the day, the salad. They're doing amazing desserts. We hand make, by the way, all of our pastas, breads, and pastries on board. We
wow, that's
also, on the
great.
Mozart only, have an herb garden on the top deck. So
Oh,
they're
okay.
using those herbs for the
Yeah.
dishes that you're eating, for the cocktails as well.
Oh,
Um,
lovely.
so yeah, but Blue is really only a lunch restaurant.
Okay.
And then otherwise all the same restaurants as the other ships have.
Right.
And it is
Okay.
multiple. And that's a big point that is important as well, that even though these are smaller, ships, or not ocean, and ocean and river cruising are quite different
Yes.
experiences. The flexibility part of our four pillars of cuisine, service, space, flexibility is that you have multiple dining options with no set dining times or tables. So
Right.
you eat when you want, with whomever you want,
Right.
and you're eating
Yeah, it's
amazing,
a
high quality
very
food.
it yeah, I did after the River Cruise Expo, I did a 7 night cruise. And that was my first river cruise experience, and it was very, very casual, very laid back, and very intimate, it very different than ocean cruising because
Hmm.
we cruise ocean, my husband and I, all the time, and that's one thing that I
Yeah.
really love. So with you guys being on the high end with luxury, it still has that casual feel. People are not required to wear, coat and tie for dinner, correct? It's still the
Correct.
same casual, relaxed atmosphere. That's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely. So
Yeah,
think, kind of smart or country club
sure.
casual.
Yeah,
And especially during the day, we totally understand, we've got a lot of active tours that folks might want
right,
to partake in. So
right,
you can wear your kind of workout gear, whatnot, more
right,
casual, comfortable clothing. And then in the evening, we ask, no like ratty jeans or anything
right.
like that, or
Just look
flip-flops.
presentable. Yeah,
Yeah, no
exactly,
robes, no
exactly.
slippers. But on the flip side, if you want to dress up and go all out, you absolutely can do that as
Sure.
well. We just don't require that.
Right.
Like
Okay.
you have a
Yeah.
suit and tie, or
Judgment free zone. That's great.
it is. And that
So,
again is leading to luxury being really about having choices,
right,
because it means something different for every guest, and we want them to feel comfortable and
right.
pampered and whatever makes them
Yeah.
feel their best.
So you touched on real quickly there about excursions. So I know it varies a little bit from one river cruise line to another as far as the inclusions and the types of excursions that they offer. How all inclusive are you at Riverside with regards to let's talk, drinks, because drinking is important to
Yeah.
some people when they're on vacation.
Yep.
Some of them it's
Sure.
just wine and beer with meals. Other it's, anything you want to drink all day long. And some of them, excursions, you get multiple to choose from. Others, it's,
Mhm.
nothing, you pay a la carte. So where do you guys fit into that realm with regard to inclusiveness on the package of what they're purchasing?
Yeah, we offer the whole shebang. That package is called the premium all-inclusive, including excursions package.
Okay.
So that includes everything, all drinks,
Self-explanatory. Okay.
all meals, anytime, all
Yeah.
food at all times. And something else I want to mention actually, as part of the dining, is that we have 24-hour room service that's available for all guests.
Oh,
So
wonderful. And
if
that's
you want
included.
to, yep, yeah,
Okay.
and that's unusual to have for all
Right.
guests. If you want to skip dinner, or you get back from your tour at, your shore excursion at 3 p.m. and you're starving, you want a burger and fries and to relax and take a nap and watch a movie in your room, I've done that. Such a nice feature to be able to do that. Or maybe,
Right.
you're not a morning person and you'd rather have breakfast delivered to your room. That's, absolutely
Right.
great options to have.
Okay.
And
Wonderful.
yeah,
So I'm
but
sorry.
where, what I was gonna lead with another point on that, having the what was your question again on that, Laura Lee?
I was
Sorry.
just I was just asking about the inclusiveness of your excursions
Oh,
and the drinks.
Yes. Okay. Sorry about that. So this is important too. Or another differentiator, I should say, rather with Riverside, is that we offer the full shebang, and that's what we always quote. You that the fully all-inclusive product. Yet, if you are someone who maybe doesn't want to pay for 7 nights of drinks, you're not a big alcohol drinker, or you're on the mocktail train, or you're wellness focused, or you just want to pay for what you're consuming, you can choose to opt out of the all-inclusive drinks
Okay.
and get the full board package, which means that only water, coffee, and tea are included. You
Okay.
would pay a la carte then for any other drinks. So then you're just paying on consumption. The staff just ask you your room number until they know who you are,
Right.
and then at the end of the cruise is when you'd get a final bill. So no one else
Okay.
knows what you've got, but that could lead to a lot of great flexibility, especially if you've got a couple different,
Right.
couples traveling together and they have different needs. But the premium all-inclusive package for the drinks, it is all juices, sodas,
Right.
cocktails,
Okay.
mocktails, wine,
And
beer.
they don't both guests have to get the same one. We can split it. So if there's one person that
It
doesn't drink and one that does.
it does need to be the same package
Oh,
per
it does.
suite.
Okay.
Yeah, but if we wanted to talk about that, you can. But really,
Sure.
most guests pick the premium all-inclusive with excursions because that's what they want. And then
Right.
one other quick side note, because you can also get a package that excludes the shore excursions. So why
Right.
would you do that? Maybe because you've cruised the Danube or the Rhine 5 times, whatever,
Right.
you want to do your own thing.
Yep.
We have bikes on the ships that you can take and do your own thing. They're complimentary e-bikes and regular bikes.
Okay.
Maybe you have Laura Lee setting up a private excursion for you somewhere.
Right.
Um, and you don't want to do all of the excursions, because another big thing that differentiates us is we offer a choice of excursion in each port. More
Okay.
often than not, that's morning and afternoon. You could
Right.
have a really packed
Yes.
river cruise schedule. So that's just an option. Just knowing,
Okay.
again, there is flexibility to choose what you want, and then you can also book those a la carte on board. If
Right.
you get on and you decide, you know what, I want to sign up for that winery chateau visit after all, and just
Right.
do a couple tours, there's
Okay.
options, but we will always lead with the premium all-inclusive with
Right.
excursion.
Okay. So I'm glad you mentioned wine.
Yes.
So I know there are some very popular theme cruises, and who doesn't love
Hmm.
theme, theme party, theme
Yeah,
nights, theme cruises. Do
absolutely.
you guys offer, the Christmas markets, the tulips, the wine because you are, sailing in France?
Yeah.
What are some of the more popular theme cruises that you guys offer?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all of the above of what you just said. And we kind
Okay.
of joke, but it is serious that all of our cruises are kind of wine cruises because
Okay.
we have such an extensive list of wines and other drinks. We also really pride ourselves with our cocktails. I mean, the kitchen staff as well as the bartending staff, they have complete liberty to do what they want, and that is a really unique feature. I mean, we're spending over 5 times the amount per guest on every sailing to source fresh local ingredients for the cuisine and for the drinks even. So that's why we have such an extensive menu. So again, cocktails, but also lots of wine, amazing wine options and champagne. I mean, we serve Taittinger as our main pour on
Okay.
Riverside. So wine cruises, yes. And I mean, we serve all that great wine on any one of our sailings, but you'll also see in the excursions, I mean, not just in France, but even through, the Moselle Valley and Moselle River, and along the Rhine. That's a really big Riesling area, especially for around Germany. And
Right.
I know what some people might be thinking, like, ew, Riesling's not my thing. It's too
Right.
sweet. But you can get a real great education on Riesling wine. It's actually a
Sure.
lot different than most Americans think.
Right.
And so we've had a lot of wine tours like that, and where you can get in there. And of
Okay.
course in France too.
Right.
But Something else that we're trying out this year that we still have some space on, if anybody is interested, we are hopefully going to be doing more of these, but we're offering a Rhine beer themed cruise
Oh,
with a beer sommelier who is joining.
okay.
And here, this is a 7 night cruise in July from Basel to Amsterdam.
Okay.
And you're accompanied by this beer sommelier in the heartlands of Germany, like where beer basically.
So it's like Oktoberfest in July.
Yeah. And
Awesome.
you're
Okay.
sailing through these areas and get to try. And I don't know if you know about the differences in the Kolsch beer from the
Yeah.
Cologne area
I'm
and
I'm
then
I'm Canadian, so I know all about beer.
and then Dusseldorf has
Yeah,
the alt beer, and they compete all the time who has the best beer. But
right.
you're sailing right through those cities, for example, and you get a really deep dive into that. So that is something to keep on the radar. But
Okay.
yes, I mean tulip cruises in the spring, they're going on right now along the
Right.
Rhine, and we do Christmas markets on the Rhine
Right.
and on the Danube.
And the Danny.
Um,
Okay. That's good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, and one other cruise I want to mention that is really interesting and another unique one is that we have a prime position in Budapest in August for Hungarian National Day, which is
Oh,
a humongous celebration. And we have this prime spot by one of the main bridges for the incredible fireworks display that they have. And I have heard from multiple people who have sailed and been there during this time that it is one of the most spectacular shows they have ever seen. Not to mention the energy in the city and all the fun things
right.
going on for their holiday celebrations. So
Okay.
that is something also to keep in mind for August, and that's every year.
And that's August. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And we're recording this now in April, so there's still probably some availability for August.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
if anyone's
Absolutely.
interested, reach out to me. Where to next agency? That's how you get a hold of me.
Yep.
So let me ask you, I ask this to anyone that I've interviewed that is whether it's ocean cruising or river cruising, if there is one myth about river cruising that you would like to set the record straight on, what would that be?
I have a twofold.
Okay.
It's not a rigid way to travel,
Okay.
and it's not only for old people.
Got it.
River cruising is having a moment right now. It is absolutely exploding in popularity and you'll be hearing a lot more of it if you haven't already now. It is really a new-ish way for some, a new way to
Hmm.
travel, a totally different way to travel. Maybe, sure, you've been to Amsterdam or you've been to Budapest or Vienna and you've seen places like that, but not from a river perspective.
Right.
It gives you a totally new perspective on those places you may have been, but then you get to also uncover all these hidden gems. There along the Danube is the amazing Wachau Valley, which is just gorgeous. The scenery is amazing, and you're sailing through multiple countries, which is so fun. And that's what
Right.
people love about river,
Yeah.
especially, is that you get to experience different cultures,
Yeah.
unpacking your bag once, having a
Yeah.
home base, and all of that.
Yeah. The
But
one
in the
thing, the
Wachau
one thing that I
Valley,
was disappointed in is we went through so many countries and I didn't get a stamp in my passport from each country.
oh yeah, that's a
That
thing.
was a
That
bit
is
that was a
true.
bit of a downer because back in the day, I used to collect stamps in
Yeah.
my passport. But yeah,
Yeah, you're not
I
going
totally
through.
agree with you on that.
Yeah.
The age of the people that are wanting to river cruise, it's not your grandparents' cruise like it used to be.
Mm-mm.
So
No, no. And
I'm gonna close this out with a lightning
yeah.
round, and this one
Okay.
you're totally unprepared for. So just
Okay.
fire off, whatever comes to your mind.
All right.
You are on the sunset deck. What drink do you have in your hand?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with uh dirty martini, extra dirty martini with 3 olives, vodka.
Okay, okay, good choice. What is your favorite river to cruise on?
This is super tough. It's got to be the Rhine or the Danube
Okay,
because again, the castles, the scenery, it's
yeah,
absolutely gorgeous. You're going through multiple countries. You get to try all this different food and different cultures. What
fair
could be
enough.
better?
Fair enough. Okay, overpacker or minimalist?
I'm a minimalist. I don't know how I do
Really?
it every time I do it, but I carry on only and I will stuff my back.
Seriously.
and my little carry-on roller, and somehow I manage
Do you use
most of
like
the time.
those vacuum sealed bags or
I
something?
don't. I just,
Wow.
shove it in there,
Wow.
shove it in my packing cubes.
Okay.
But I
Perfect.
will, a plug those foldable bags like Foldy or I forgot this other brand, but depending on where I'm going and if I'm planning ahead and I know I want to buy, for example, jam from my favorite town in Austria, along the Danube, Krems, Austria has the most incredible apricot jam. Then I will bring an extra bag and probably check one of my bags on the
Yeah.
return so
I
that I
I
can
I
pack
had to
some
buy
goodies.
I had to buy a duffel bag on this last cruise because we bought
Yeah,
we bought we bought a little too much.
it
So
happens.
what is one item that you cannot travel without?
Um, well, I have a few, I mean, my electrolyte packets.
Okay.
To stay hydrated for
Yeah.
sure. And I have a turtle neck pillow
Okay.
um, that is great for shorter flights, for
Yeah.
bus rides or shuttle, or sometimes yeah, well, in any case, driving or plane rides.
Right.
That is a must. Yeah,
Okay.
those are a
And
couple of my
last
favorites.
question, what is the most memorable guest experience you've witnessed on one of your ships?
Oh gosh, it's really fun hearing these stories coming through. I mean, our staff is the heartbeat of Riverside Luxury Cruises. They are so intuitive and so on top of things. They care so much. I've heard stories, about folks that have been on. One gentleman said that he was sick and he had a cold and he didn't want to be out and about. And if he did, infecting other people, he stayed in his room a lot of the time. And the staff took care of him, he said, better than his own mother, and they brought him
Okay.
cold meds and soup without even asking. There's a lot of
That's
instances
good.
like that where, if you ask or if the staff anticipates that you need something, they'll go out and they'll get it for you or they'll help figure it
Right.
out anyway. And
That's
they are
wonderful.
just so wonderful and personable, and you grow to be friends with them and get to know their lives. And it's sad when you leave because you've
Right.
you gained a new friend. So
Yeah. Oh, that's
lots of
wonderful.
stories like that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for your time. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I hope my viewers have enjoyed learning a little bit more about Riverside Luxury River Cruises. If you have any questions at all about Riverside or cruising in general, please feel free to reach out. Again, I'm Laura Lee with Where to Next Agency. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe to these videos. And be sure to tune in for new Portside Conversations coming this way soon. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.
Thanks. See you on Riverside.